We have all been in a room with someone who seems to have an absolute answer for everything. They dictate terms, they hold the floor, and they rarely admit to being incorrect. It is remarkably easy to fall under their spell. Humans are social creatures, and we are practically hardwired to defer to whoever speaks with the most authority. But when psychologists actually test this social reflex, they find a major flaw in our programming. It turns out, speaking with utter conviction has almost zero correlation with actual competence. In fact, the relationship often runs in the opposite direction. The stronger a person's feeling of absolute, unshakable certainty, the lower the odds that they actually know what they are talking about. When we treat volume and conviction as proof of intellect, we leave ourselves vulnerable to the people who shout the loudest while understanding the least. To see how this false certainty takes root, we have to look at a cognitive blind spot known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. This chart shows the relationship between what we actually know and how confident we feel about it. When someone first encounters a new topic, they don't know enough to see the hidden nuances. Because the subject looks deceivingly simple to them, their confidence shoots straight up. They reach a peak of absolute self-assurance, while their genuine ability is still sitting firmly near zero. They lack the expertise required to even recognize their own incompetence. Instead of pausing to evaluate the available data, they instantly lock on to the very first conclusion that pops into their head. What is missing entirely from this process is self-reflection. They skip the most crucial step of basic problem solving, stopping to ask if they could simply be wrong. Without that internal check, they construct a distorted reality. They become increasingly certain of ideas that are factually inaccurate. Unearned confidence is not a sign of mastery. It is a symptom of not knowing enough to see the whole picture. Eventually, this fiercely confident mind will slam into real-world evidence that contradicts its worldview. When that happens, an automatic defense mechanism kicks in to protect those pre-existing beliefs. Psychologists call this confirmation bias. The human brain actively filters incoming data. It builds a psychological wall that deflects any perspectives that challenge its established conclusions. Instead of weighing all the available facts, it focuses only on the specific evidence that validates its flawed original opinion. Over time, this selective filtering compounds. By constantly rewarding their own assumptions, their absolute certainty grows thicker and harder to break. This cognitive loop stops all further growth. By shutting out the unknown, the individual effectively stops learning. A closed mind trapped inside this loop will inevitably mistake its own distorted reflection for the absolute truth. If absolute certainty indicates ignorance, we have to look for a different set of markers to identify genuine intellect. True intelligence requires a specific kind of self-awareness. It demands the capacity to look at a complex problem and openly admit what you do not know. Highly intelligent people treat learning as an ongoing, infinite process, rather than a target with a specific end date. They are comfortable sitting in the ambiguity of the unknown. When credible new evidence appears, they change their minds. This means we need to adjust how we evaluate the people around us. We have to stop equating the volume of someone's delivery with the quality of their thinking. High intelligence reveals itself through persistent questions rather than dictated answers.